Scene 1 of King Lear continues then, around about line 130, 131, where Kent says, "Royal Lear, whom I have ever honoured as my king, loved as my father." Now again, that taps into a view of kings that was still sort of around when Shakespeare was sort of writing, but also taps into a slightly outdated system. Kent is equating there Lear as his king with Lear as his father. It's again a very patriarchal society. You know, the term patriarch comes from the term pater, father. And there's that idea that the king was descended from God and was therefore a fatherly figure. And Kent equates the two. So we get again the idea that Kent is part of also this outdated past. But also that Lear again is this elder statesman, this older sort of man. And then Kent really does stand up to him on about line 137. He says, "What wilt thou do, old man?" So he specifically refers to his age, old man, specifically targets him on the age, the idea that he is losing his sort of wisdom, I guess, losing his power. There is more disrespectful than you at the time as well. So Kent is deliberately using a less respectful language. And he says around about line 138, "Thinkst thou that duty shall have dread to speak when power to flattery bows?" Basically saying that Lear has bowed down of all of his power to flattery. Now at the end of the play, Lear does literally bow down. He's bowed down over Cordelia's dead body. And there's that sense again from Shakespeare that it's inevitable. Lear in many ways does need to bow down. The problem here is that he's bowing down to flattery. It's bowing down to the wrong thing. So that's what Shakespeare's sort of suggesting. Lear is part of an outdated past, but the present that's replacing with Goneril, Regan and Edmund isn't the right one. And then the end of Kent's speech, around about line 143, he says, "Nor are those empty-hearted whose low sound reverbs no hollowness." Basically, Cordelia doesn't speak as much because she's not hollow. Goneril and Regan are hollow on the inside. They're empty inside. Again, that's playing around with the idea of nothingness, the emptiness. It also foreshadows Lear's mention a bit later on when he talks about cracking an egg and the halves of an egg being hollow and also being like a crown. So the idea of his empty power as king, which is sort of foreshadowed here. Lear says, "Out of my sight," again ironic, isn't it? When Gloucester loses his sight, when Lear loses his words, they actually make sense. And then on line 50, Lear says, "Now by Apollo." So when Shakespeare was writing in Jacobean times, there's a belief that the king has God on his side, he's descended from God. Shakespeare reminds us that Lear is set in an age where before that was the case, there is no God, it's by Apollo. So we could read that and go, you know, this is a pre-Christian era. That's a problem. In a minute, that gets challenged slightly, which I'll come to shortly. When Kent again challenges him, he says vassal, recreant. Again, old-fashioned terms of vassal. It's a relic from a feudal system where there were these lower caste people. And then Lear ends his next speech about line 168, "By Jupiter." So again, he's evoking all of these old gods. It's not a Christian sort of system. And then Kent says to Cordelia about 171, "The gods to their protection take thee, maid." Now he says God's not God, but it's a much more Christian image, and Cordelia, as it goes on, is far more aligned with Christian imagery, even though it's set in a pre-Christian era. So we might look at this and go, well, you know, Lear's a relic of an old pre-Christian past, and Shakespeare wants the audience to go, look, we've got a Christian, you know, society, a Christian king now, isn't that better? This argues against that. You know, Cordelia is this very Christian-like character, this very classic, very pure woman, who is, Kent says, you know, may the gods go with you, and yet she is still killed. So I think Shakespeare's trying to make it tricky for us to take any easy answers here. And then at the end of Kent's speech, he says, "Our princes bid you adieu, he'll shape his old course in a country new." So he ends in the couplet. Kent says, "I'll shape my old course in a country new." He's saying, I can't change, you know, I'm part of this old past. The world's changing around me, but I am still part of the old past. Interesting that on that line, that line about the country new is rhymed with adieu. Kent is saying goodbye. And there's that acceptance again that he's part of a way of life that needs to sort of go, that needs to die out. And then we get the irony as Lear talks to Burgundy, and then France saying that Cordelia's dowry's gone. We get the echoes of what Lear talked about. Lear basically says, look, she's got no dowry, but you can have her. Burgundy replies with, "I know no answer," on line 190. Real irony there that just like Cordelia said nothing, now Burgundy says nothing. So Shakespeare's giving Lear a taste of his own medicine really pretty much straight away. And then France says about line 207, "Her offence must be of such unnatural degree," basically to offend you. We have that question mark, is it unnatural or not? As Rutter points out in her analysis, a feminist analysis of King Lear, on the one hand, Cordelia is unnatural because she has stood up to this patriarchal figure, this father and this king, and yet at the same time, she's been the very natural woman. She has stayed silent. She's done what Jacobean women were expected to do. Cordelia says around about line 215, I yet beseech your majesty, if for I want that glib and oily art. She's talking about Machiavellian politics there. She lacks the glib and oily art, that, you know, ability to sort of speak words that you don't really mean. And Cordelia ends that speech by saying, you know, thou not have it hath lost me in your liking. She's glad that she doesn't have that sort of tendency. When again, we get Lear saying nothing on line 235, when Burgundy sort of speaks to him, you know, and says, look, you can give him, I'll take Cordelia if you give me the dowry. Lear says nothing, you know, so again, it's that irony that the situation's already reversing itself. That carries on throughout, you know, everything reverses on Lear. France says in his first line directly to Cordelia, fair is Cordelia, thou that art most rich, being poor. So we get that sort of contrast there, the paradox really that Cordelia is poor but also rich. That's again a little bit like fool's licence, the idea that the fool could say what they wanted but because it didn't really mean anything. And again, Cordelia's aligned with the fool, she's both rich and poor at the same time. It seems as though that's how you survive in this world. You're both part of the old world and part of the new. And you know, he carries on, your most loved, despised. About line 249, he calls Cordelia unprized. It's good double meaning there, you know, she's unprized in the sense that they don't prize her value, they don't realise how good she is, but also unprized, she's literally been unprized, she's lost her prize, she's lost her value, her dowry. And then we have really Christian imagery when Cordelia says, about line 257, the jewels of our, with washed eyes Cordelia leaves you. So what she means there is she's crying, you know, I'll leave you and I'm crying. But again, her tears linked with purity, her tears linked with being washed, with being pure. It's an image, it's a Christian image, you know, of like holy water almost. So again, she's directly aligned with Christian imagery, and yet she dies as well. So Shakespeare gives us this sense that we can't have easy answers. A religious reading of this doesn't quite work. It's not as simple as saying the old world's bad and the new Christian world is good. It seems like the answers really are in these paradoxes, that you need to be loved and hated at the same time. You need to be rich and poor at the same time. Goneril answers, basically Cordelia says, you know, to your professed bosoms I commit him. I'll give Lear to you and I hope that your words are true. Goneril says, prescribe us not our duties on 265. Totally the opposite of Cordelia, you know, standing there up, going out of their role, going out of this domestic doting role, totally unnatural in Jacobean times. And then Goneril and Regan start speaking about line 277. They say, you see how full of changes his age is. Again, age is the issue, okay? Both his age as in how old he is, but also his age, his era. There's that idea again that the new world is overtaking the old one. Regan answers with, actually, 'tis the infirmity of his age, yet he hath ever but slenderly known himself. Shakespeare again avoids the obvious answer. Goneril says, oh, it's his age, either that he's too old or he's part of an age that can't keep up. Yet Regan says, he hath ever but slenderly known himself. It's not just about his age, it's also a fault in him. Castan talks about this. It's God punishing them, but it's also human weakness that causes a tragedy, and it's also just random fate. Cordelia doesn't do anything wrong and she gets killed. There's no easy answers here, and Shakespeare's at pains in the first scene to set up that idea that we can't get an easy answer. And then Goneril at the end says we must do something, and in the heat, basically in the heat of the moment, we need to strike. We get Lear being in the past, whereas Goneril and Regan act and live totally in the present day.